Welcome back to me and you outside. Hey, you may have seen a previous video that I put out there where I was trot lining with my son in the rain. He was videoing me running the trot line and caught this big old buffalo. The buffalo weighs 19 pounds. I weighed it and I brought it here. It's on my skinning table right now. I'm going to fillet this thing out. Now, everybody's skins these a little bit different. It depends on how you're going to cook it. That dictates on how you're going to skin it. All right. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and leave all the scales on it, because I'm literally going to fillet this fish out. I'm going to fillet the fish off of the skin, so I'm not worried about the scales or anything like that. And all I'm going to do is make a cut right here behind the head. These things are tough as nails. Then I'm going to come down through here along the spine, cutting. You got to get through all those scales. Once you get through them scales, it's not too bad. I basically skin this. You've seen me on other videos, probably skin carp and stuff like that, but it's kind of the same process, really. Now, I'll just tell you, buffalo has some really white meat. It's different than a carp. It's going to have some red in it, too, and I can clean that up. But it's definitely going to have a lot of good white meat, and I'm going to show you that here in just a minute when I get this fillet off of here. It's a big fillet. I'm just telling you. See that pretty meat? Prettier than any carp you'll ever find as far as the meat color. And the reason I'm filleting it like this, because again, I'm not sure how I'm going to cook it yet. I may just fry it. I think it's going to fry up pretty good. I'll have to fry it in such a way that maybe I can work around the bones, because it's going to be a little bit bony fish. Probably not as bony as a sucker, but still it's going to be bony. It's just a bony fish. It's just what these scaled bottom feeders like this are. All of them are. Except the drum. You can fillet a drum out and you don't have a lot of bones in them. Now look here. This meat here is super white. If that was a carp, a regular carp, just a regular old river carp we call them, all that would be red streak, just about 70% red meat. But a buffalo is about 70% white meat. That is the difference, and it's a big difference. So I'm going to fillet this out, and again, that's not a big deal. It's just a standard fillet. But it is such a big old piece of meat here. I'm probably going to fillet into the half of it right here. I can feel the bones as I'm cutting through here. Again, he's going to have bones, but I don't care if he has bones. It's not going to be a problem. We're just going to work around them bones as far as when I get ready to cook him. Again, I'm not real sure how to cook him. You can smoke them, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to fry this fish. Now there's the red streak on this buffalo. I can cut this out, and again, it may not be bad tasting. I don't know. I'm not going to try to eat it, but most of the red streaks in a lot of your fish is not really good eating. So I'm going to assume on this buffalo it's the same thing. We've never cooked them like that. Now I got most of that red streak out, but I just want you to look at this white meat here. See how white that is? It's just white and pretty. You can't find a better looking meat on a fish than that right there, and I assure you that is going to be good eating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish filleting this fish out, get it all ready. I'm going to take it to the cooking pot. We're going to cook it. We're going to taste it. We're going to eat it and see how it is. So I'll see you at the cooking pot. All right, just like I told you, we'd be right here at the cooking table, at the cooking pot. Got my grease pretty hot here. Turn it down a little bit. Now I've got these big old carp fillets here. Now let me clarify something about this fish that you might have saw in another video. The other video was can you trot line without a boat, or trot lining without a boat. You need to watch that video if you hadn't watched it. I called this fish on there a buffalo. The reason I did is because buffalo is the only other carp other than the standard carp we've ever known to be on this river in my entire life. And now we go down there with a trot line and catch one that looks just like a buffalo, but there is a difference. And what this is actually a grass carp. That's what I caught. That big old carp you saw in that video was a grass carp, the carp that you just see me fillet out. That is a grass carp. But we're still going to eat it, and it's going to be good because I can tell you why. I can tell by looking at this meat here. It is really white, clean. It's got one streak down the middle, but I'll cut that out. And it's going to be really good. Now, grass carp are an Asian type carp. They're kind of an invasive species. They can get up to 100 pounds. And this one weighed 19 pounds. He's still a pretty good sized fish. But it is not a buffalo. I want to clarify that. It is not a buffalo. And I know I just called it a buffalo just a few minutes ago in this video. But it is a grass carp. I've done some research on it because I was suspicious about its color. It was a lot lighter color than a buffalo. Buffalo's a little bit darker color. Grass carp eat nothing but vegetation, okay? This is why people put them in their ponds, because they can get rid of extra moss, all kinds of stuff that you may have in your pond that would be a detriment to your pond. But they can also be a detriment themselves because they eat so much vegetation that it kind of takes away cover and stuff for other fish. But anyways, I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna cut this up into chunks and show you how I'm gonna do that. Again, it's a big old nice fillet here, and I'm gonna come on both sides of this streak here, and I'm gonna go right down the middle, right beside that streak. Now I've got myself a really good piece of meat right there. I mean, that looks good. I'm gonna cut this in smaller pieces, and as I'm cutting this in smaller pieces, I'm cutting through bone. Bring it, camera down, I couldn't hear that. Hear that? I am cutting through bone. I'm not making these pieces real thick because the thinner they are, the easier those bones might cook up a little bit, okay? So what I'm gonna do is cut a bunch of this. I'm gonna roll it. I'm gonna dip it in milk like I always do. I'm gonna take it out of the milk. I'm gonna put it in Zatarain's fish batter, which I love. It's my favorite. You can get it at Sam's Club, about $7 for a big old jug of it like that. And then I'm gonna fry it. So I'll show you how we fry it here in just a second. All right, I'm going to put some of this grass carp in this hot grease. I've cut these in fairly small pieces, like that right there. Some of the bones will fry up, the ones that are close to the edge, and some of the bones won't. So when we're gonna eat this here in a little bit, we're just gonna eat it carefully. The bones are gonna be a pretty good sized bone, so we're not gonna have to worry about little bones, I don't believe. So we'll just like I say, eat it carefully. Get that down in that hot grease there. My grease is perfect. It's about 325 or 365, which is where I like it whenever I'm frying fish, because your temperature is going to come down. The more fish you put in your grease, your temperature is going to drop a little bit, and that doesn't hurt anything as long as your temperature start out a little high. Sometimes you start out at 350. And then it'll drop down to 300, 275, and your fish will get soggy. I don't like that. I like crisp fish. All right, here we go. Another little. Get this dropped in there as quick as we can. Right now I'm trying to drop that fish in here to control my grease because it's starting to climb fast. I could turn it down, but I'm going to let my fish turn it down for me. That's why I'm hurrying here. It's going to be interesting eating this fish. I've never eaten a grass carp, ever. I just haven't. Because they're hard to catch on a rod and reel. Very few people catch them. And they mostly, people have them in their ponds to help with, like I say, with the vegetation growth, moss and whatever. Fish biologists don't like them in the lakes at all whatsoever. In fact, this female, this fish I caught was a female. She had probably, I counted them, there was 3.6 million eggs in her belly. Took me a while to count those, but counting them individually, there's a lot of eggs in there. But she was full of eggs. I mean, full of eggs. No, I didn't actually count it, for Pete's sake, for you out there going, wow, that's cool. No, there was a lot of eggs. All I can say, there was a ton. I'm glad I got her out of the gene pool, because she would have laid eggs, and it's just a tenth of those, or a 0.10% of those would have hatched. That's too many. Too many in your rivers. You don't want them fish in the rivers. Not good. All right, I've got them all. Now later in the video, you're going to see me take these big old hunks. Look at these big old huge tenderloins off of that fish. I'm going to take them and I'm going to smoke them. So that'll be part of the taste that you'll see on this video. So stay tuned. Going to be some interesting stuff happening. We'll find out how it all works out together, okay? Well, I'm going to let these fry up for about 5 minutes. And once they're done, we're going to the taste table over here. And we are going to eat grass carp. So stay tuned. Let's see how it is. The time has come to taste grass carp. Now, to tell you, it's good looking meat, I will say that, okay? And we haven't touched it yet. We got a whole pan full of it right here. Look at that. Got some thinner slices, little thicker slices, just little cubes. They all look good. But we haven't tried it yet. We're about to try it. I'm anxious to try it. I honestly think it'll be good only because I've never seen a white meated fish that wasn't good. There's my tasters right there. My wife, Sandy, granddaughter, Brindley. Everybody knows Jackson. Everybody knows Brindley. So they're going to be our tasters. And Jackson, he don't care to go first. He will eat anything, that guy will. So go ahead, Jackson, take your piece. Now, what you got to do when you're dealing with fish with possible bones, you want to take your first piece, like take a piece of this, Jackson, and break it in half. And see what it's got for a bone structure, if it has any bones in it at all. You see any bones in there whatsoever?
No.
Okay, take a little bite of it and see what you think.
Okay. I like it.
You had it hanging there for a minute. Freaking us all out here. Brindley, you want to try a piece?
Yeah.
And Brindley's not a big fish eater. Everybody knows this. I'm going to give her a small piece. Break it in two. Break it in half. Make sure there's no bones. Good. Looks good.
It's really white.
It's very white meat. I knew it would be. Go ahead. Try it. Jackson's reaching for another piece. Break it in 2 or 3 pieces, a big old piece like that, Jackson.
It's good. Is it good?
All right. Mm-hmm. Here's the ultimate taste test right here, this crazy woman. I didn't mean crazy.
Small one.
That little bitty bone in there sticking up right there. No, on the other one.
This one?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's just the meat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Very mild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard it. I read something about it that it wasn't real fishy.
It's good.
Well, here's the ultimate taste test right here. You see this fat man tasting it.
Very clean tasting. Yeah.
I was trying to find a bone.
Did you find a bone, Jack? Little one? I didn't have one in mind.
I'm not sure how white that is. There's very few fish with that white of meat. That's crazy. And I'll tell you something. It's really good, isn't it, Jackson? Jackson hadn't stopped eating it.
It is really good.
About as white as it gets. There's a little bone right here. The bones you see, that's a Y bone right there. Called a Y bone. That's a big enough bone, you're not going to swallow that accidentally. You're going to get that in your mouth, you're going to just take it out, okay? That's easy to do. Wow.
Good.
Don't go anywhere. You're about to see a taste test of smoked or grilled grass carp. And that's just coming real fast. Stay right there.